Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. If you're over 50, 60, or even 70 and you've noticed your hair becoming thinner, weaker, or falling out more than it used to, I want you to listen very carefully because what I'm about to share is simple, natural, and backed by real physiology. Hair loss in seniors is not just about aging. It's about circulation. It's about nutrient absorption. It's about inflammation. And most importantly, it's about what your body is no longer getting at night while it tries to repair itself. You see, hair growth doesn't happen during the day. It happens while you sleep. That's when growth hormone is released. That's when cells regenerate. That's when follicles either recover or continue to shrink. And there is one simple food, just 1 spoon before bed, that can support this repair process naturally, especially for seniors. I'm talking about pumpkin seeds, or more specifically, cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil. Now let me explain why this matters so much. Hair loss in seniors is not a cosmetic problem, and it is not simply old age catching up with you, because if it were inevitable, it would happen to everyone at the same rate, and it clearly does not. And that alone tells us something deeper is happening inside the body that modern conversations rarely address. What most people don't realize is that your hair is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the body, which means it demands oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and blood flow just to stay alive. And when the body begins to struggle, hair is one of the first places where that struggle becomes visible. As we age, the body quietly shifts into a survival mode, prioritizing the brain, the heart, and vital organs, while everything else, including hair follicles, moves lower on the priority list. And this is where the real story begins. Hair loss in seniors is fundamentally a repair failure, not a genetic destiny, because hair follicles are living structures that must be repaired every single night. And when that repair process weakens, follicles shrink, growth cycles shorten, and strands become thinner until they disappear. Scientific studies show that after the age of 50, blood flow to the scalp can decrease by as much as 40%, which means less oxygen reaches the follicle. And oxygen is not optional for hair growth. It is essential for cellular energy production inside the follicle itself. Without oxygen, follicles enter a dormant state, and dormant follicles do not produce strong hair. At the same time, inflammation quietly increases with age, a process researchers now call inflammaging. And chronic low-grade inflammation damages the tiny blood vessels that feed hair follicles, slowly choking them off over years rather than weeks, which is why hair loss feels gradual and unstoppable. What makes this even more alarming is that inflammation also interferes with the signals that tell hair when to grow, meaning follicles don't just starve, they become confused, stuck in a resting phase they can't escape. Hormonal shifts add another layer to this problem, especially the rise in relative levels of DHT, a hormone that shrinks hair follicles by tightening blood vessels around them. And while medications try to block this hormone aggressively, the real issue is that aging follicles lack the resilience to recover from its effects. Younger follicles can withstand stress and bounce back, but older follicles need support, circulation, and nutrients to survive, and when they don't get them, they retreat. One of the most shocking facts rarely discussed is that hair growth does not primarily happen during the day, it happens at night, during deep sleep, when growth hormone is released and cellular repair accelerates, and yet sleep quality declines dramatically with age. Studies show that adults over 60 spend significantly less time in deep sleep compared to younger individuals. And this alone reduces the body's ability to regenerate hair follicles. When sleep becomes fragmented, repair signals weaken, cortisol levels rise, and cortisol is a known inhibitor of hair growth, directly pushing follicles into a shedding phase. Add to this the reality that nutrient absorption also declines with age, meaning even seniors who eat healthy diets may not be absorbing enough zinc, iron, essential fats, and amino acids to rebuild hair tissue. And without these raw materials, repair becomes impossible. Zinc deficiency alone has been strongly linked in research to hair thinning, brittle strands, and slow regrowth, yet zinc absorption decreases with age due to reduced stomach acid, something millions of seniors experience without realizing its downstream effects. Circulation, inflammation, hormones, sleep, and nutrition all converge at the follicle, and when even one of these systems falters, hair begins to suffer, but in seniors it is usually several systems failing at once. This is why topical solutions often disappoint, because rubbing something on the scalp does nothing if the follicle is starved from the inside, deprived of oxygen and repair signals. Hair loss becomes the body's quiet message that repair capacity is declining, not that the body has given up entirely. And here is the most hopeful part that science supports. Follicles do not die easily. They shrink, they weaken, they retreat, but many remain alive for years, waiting for the environment to improve. Research shows that improving circulation, reducing inflammation, and restoring nighttime repair signals can help follicles re-enter the growth phase even later in life, which means the window for support is far wider than most people believe. The tragedy is that seniors are often told there is nothing they can do, when in reality, the body is still responding, still adapting, still capable of healing when given the right conditions. Hair loss is not a failure of vanity, it is a signal of imbalance, a reflection of how well the body repairs itself when the lights go out at night. When repair weakens, hair weakens, and when repair improves, hair often follows. Understanding this changes everything, because it shifts the focus away from fighting hair loss and towards supporting the body's natural ability to heal, regenerate, and sustain the follicles that remain. This is not about chasing youth. It is about restoring function, because the body does not forget how to grow hair. It simply needs the right signals, the right nutrients, and the right environment to do what it has always known how to do. If you're over 60 and struggling with thinning hair, what I'm about to reveal could change the way you think about hair growth forever, because it's not about expensive treatments, pills, or painful procedures. It's about one simple, natural habit, one small action that works with your body while it heals itself at night. This is not a gimmick. This is biology, pure and simple. One spoon, just one spoon before bed. And the reason it works lies deep inside the tiny hair follicle, the powerhouse of every strand on your head. Hair follicles are not passive. They are living, breathing structures that require oxygen, nutrients, and protective compounds to survive. And when these elements are missing, the follicles shrink, weaken, and eventually stop producing hair. That is the reality for most seniors. But here's where the science gets fascinating. There is a natural food, completely safe, completely accessible, that provides precisely what follicles need to fight the effects of aging from the inside out. Cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil. You may have heard of it in passing, maybe in recipes or as a health fad, but few people realize this oil is a concentrated source of what researchers call phytosterols, plant-based compounds that interact directly with the hormone pathways responsible for hair loss. One of the main culprits behind thinning hair in seniors is DHT, a derivative of testosterone that shrinks follicles and cuts off blood supply. Modern medications block DHT aggressively, sometimes with serious side effects, but pumpkin seed oil offers a gentler, natural approach. Phytosterols in pumpkin seed oil inhibit DHT activity selectively, giving follicles the breathing room they need to survive. Human studies confirm this. In one clinical trial, men who consumed pumpkin seed oil daily experienced a 40% increase in hair count over 24 weeks. And while most studies focus on men, the mechanisms apply to anyone experiencing DHT-related follicle miniaturization, including seniors. But that is just the beginning. Pumpkin seed oil is rich in zinc, a mineral many seniors lack due to natural declines in absorption. Zinc is essential for keratin production, the protein that gives hair its structure, thickness, and resilience. Without it, follicles are starved, strands break easily, and hair cannot regrow efficiently. And here is something most people don't realize. Taking nutrients at the wrong time drastically reduces their effectiveness. Hair growth happens primarily at night during deep sleep when growth hormone surges and repair mechanisms activate. Blood flow slows, digestion changes, and fat-soluble nutrients like those in pumpkin seed oil are absorbed far more efficiently than during the day. That is why the timing is critical. 1 spoon before bed ensures that phytosterols, zinc, and fatty acids remain available during the body's peak repair window. It's almost like giving the follicles a luxury spa treatment while the rest of the body rests. And the fatty acids themselves, omega-6 and omega-9, serve another vital function. They improve microcirculation, ensuring oxygen and nutrients reach the follicle. As we age, circulation naturally declines, and follicles that are starved of oxygen weaken, shedding hair in the process. These fatty acids reverse that trend subtly but powerfully, strengthening follicles from the root. You might think a single spoon of oil is too small to matter, but science tells us otherwise. Consistency is what counts. Follicles respond gradually to improved conditions. 1 tablespoon nightly may seem simple, almost trivial, but repeated every night, it delivers a continuous stream of nutrients and protective compounds when the follicles are most receptive. It is like placing a shield around every hair root while the body is repairing itself. And let's not forget about inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation quietly damages hair follicles, reduces blood flow, and disrupts growth cycles. Pumpkin seed oil contains antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress, calming inflammation at the follicular level. This is critical for seniors because inflammation increases naturally with age, creating an environment where hair simply cannot thrive. When you combine improved circulation, reduced inflammation, nutrient delivery, and hormonal support, the follicles begin to recover. They may not all sprout overnight, but over weeks and months, shedding slows, strands thicken, and hair that seemed lost may start to return. The effects are cumulative, invisible at first, but undeniable over time. One of the most powerful aspects of this approach is safety. Unlike pharmaceutical interventions, pumpkin seed oil is natural, non-toxic, and generally well tolerated. It works with the body, not against it, supporting the follicle without shutting down essential hormones or causing side effects. For seniors, this is crucial. Your body is already juggling countless systems, kidneys, heart, liver, and introducing a treatment that interferes with these is often counterproductive. But a small spoon of oil before bed, that is support without compromise. You may wonder how to take it. It's simple. 1 tablespoon of cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. You can take it straight or stir it into a small spoonful of yogurt. Do not heat it. Heat destroys the delicate phytosterols and fatty acids, and do it every night. Consistency is the silent key to transformation. Over time, as you maintain this habit, you may notice hair shedding slows first, texture improves next, and eventually the follicles themselves begin to respond more robustly. The difference is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it is real, and it is backed by biology, physiology, and research. This is what natural support looks like, working with the body's repair systems, not against them. Hair growth is slow, especially in seniors, but unlike many modern treatments that attempt to force results quickly, this approach strengthens the foundation. Strong follicles create strong strands. Strong strands resist breakage, and resisting breakage is the first step toward maintaining hair density. This 1 spoon before bed is not a miracle in the Hollywood sense, but it is a miracle in the way the body was designed to heal. It's simple, safe, and profoundly effective if done consistently. For seniors, it's a message of hope. Your body still knows how to grow hair. It still knows how to repair itself. It still responds to the right signals at the right time. 1 spoon before bed provides those signals. 1 spoon before bed is a nightly conversation with your follicles. You are supported, you are nourished, you are protected. And in time, that small gesture adds up to measurable, visible change. Hair that once seemed destined to thin or disappear can regain strength. Hair that seemed fragile can become resilient. And perhaps most importantly, it restores confidence, because hair is not just about vanity. It is a reflection of health, vitality, and the body's ability to repair itself even in later years. So remember this: 1 spoon before bed every night is not just an action. It is a commitment to your follicles, a commitment to your body, and a commitment to the natural healing process that has always been inside you, waiting for the chance to work. When you do this consistently, science tells us biology responds, and the results, while gradual, can be profound. Many seniors accept hair loss as inevitable, as if thinning strands are simply part of getting older. But the truth is far more encouraging and far more actionable than most people realize. Hair loss is not just about follicles dying. It is about follicles retreating. It is about the body failing to provide the right conditions for growth. And the most overlooked factor in this process is consistency. Night after night, week after week, month after month. You see, hair follicles are not machines. They are living structures that operate on cycles of growth, rest, and shedding. When the body is out of balance, these cycles become disrupted. In seniors, disrupted cycles are almost always linked to declining repair processes that occur during sleep, reduced circulation, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies. The good news is that the follicles you still have are alive. They are dormant, weak, or shrinking, but they are not gone. And when they are given the right signals consistently, they can recover, re-enter the growth phase, and resist shedding. One of the most powerful interventions for seniors is a simple habit: taking a spoon of cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil every night before bed. This small, consistent action protects the follicles while the body is naturally repairing itself. And the science behind this is both fascinating and compelling. Hair growth peaks during deep sleep. When growth hormone surges, inflammation decreases, and repair mechanisms are at their strongest. Yet studies show that adults over 60 spend significantly less time in deep sleep than younger individuals, which reduces the body's natural ability to support follicles. By taking pumpkin seed oil before bed, seniors provide their follicles with nutrients, phytosterols, and fatty acids exactly when the body is most receptive. 1 tablespoon may seem small, almost insignificant, but it creates a steady supply of what follicles need during their most critical window. And when this is done consistently, it changes everything. Shedding slows first. Strands that would have fallen out remain intact. Follicles stabilize, and over weeks and months, the body begins to restore the hair it still has. The cumulative effect is far more important than immediate results. 1 night alone cannot reverse decades of follicle stress, but 1 night repeated hundreds of times builds a foundation that follicles can finally rely on. Consistency allows the body to normalize the processes that have become dysfunctional with age. Circulation improves, nutrients are absorbed more effectively, hormones stabilize, and inflammation diminishes. Each of these improvements reinforces the others, creating a protective environment where hair can thrive. There is a profound lesson here that most people overlook. Hair loss is not sudden. It is slow. It is gradual. And recovery is equally gradual. But unlike many treatments that promise instant results and fail to address underlying biology, nightly consistency works with your body's natural rhythm. It strengthens the follicles you still have. It slows shedding. And in seniors, where follicle death is rare but miniaturization is common, slowing shedding is often the first sign of true progress. This is supported by research showing that natural interventions like pumpkin seed oil, rich in zinc, phytosterols, and fatty acids, require regular intake over months to produce measurable improvements in hair density and follicle strength. The night before bed habit aligns perfectly with the body's circadian biology, ensuring that these compounds reach the follicle when repair mechanisms are most active, and the impact extends beyond hair alone. Slower shedding, stronger strands, and healthier follicles also reduce scalp stress, improve skin health, and support overall nutrient balance in the body. It is a holistic intervention, not just a cosmetic one. Another important factor is that hair follicles are highly sensitive to stress hormones. Cortisol, which rises when sleep is poor or inconsistent, pushes follicles into shedding. Consistent nightly support, paired with a routine that promotes restful sleep, reduces cortisol spikes at night, giving follicles a calmer environment to function. In practical terms, this means seniors who adopt a nightly habit of 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seed oil are not only delivering nutrients, but also reinforcing the body's natural circadian repair cycle. Over time, the effects are visible. Hair that once fell out in the shower begins to hold. Strands feel stronger, thicker, and more resilient. The scalp itself appears healthier. And what seems like a small change, 1 spoon before bed, accumulates into a profound transformation over months. It is consistency, not quantity, that makes the difference. 1 tablespoon nightly for a week is not enough. 1 tablespoon nightly for 1 month shows early signs. But 1 tablespoon nightly for 3 to 6 months is when the body's natural repair systems fully respond and the follicles begin to recover more visibly. This is the kind of slow, steady progress that medical studies consistently demonstrate. It is subtle yet undeniable, and it is entirely within reach for seniors willing to prioritize consistency. Perhaps the most overlooked benefit of this approach is psychological. Hair loss is emotionally taxing. It affects confidence, self-image, and overall well-being. By committing to a nightly routine, seniors regain a sense of control. They are no longer passive observers of a process that feels inevitable. They are active participants in their own repair, giving their follicles what they need to survive and thrive. This sense of agency is scientifically meaningful because stress itself exacerbates hair loss. Feeling empowered, supported, and consistent with a simple nightly habit reduces stress-related shedding, creating a positive feedback loop. Hair becomes a reflection of health, habit, and dedication, not just genetics or age. Consistency at night protects what you have, strengthens what remains, and sets the stage for future growth. 1 small repeated action compounds into profound results over time. For seniors, this is hope. This is science working in harmony with nature. And it is a message that must be heard. Hair loss is not irreversible. Follicles respond to support, but they require patience, repetition, and timing aligned with the body's natural repair cycles. Skipping nights, forgetting, or taking a sporadic approach undermines the process. But when you take 1 spoon every night before bed, you are speaking the language your follicles understand. You are feeding them, protecting them, and giving them the best chance to survive and thrive. Over weeks, shedding slows. Over months, strands thicken. Over sustained practice, your hair becomes stronger, healthier, and more resilient than it has been in years. And perhaps most importantly, this nightly ritual reinforces a greater principle. The body, even in later years, retains an astonishing capacity to heal, regenerate, and respond to the right signals. Hair loss is not a sentence, it is a signal. Consistency is the answer. 1 spoon, 1 night, repeated every night. That is all it takes to protect what remains, support what is growing, and give seniors a natural, safe, and effective path towards stronger hair, renewed confidence, and visible results that truly last.